Hi everyone, so my name's Lisa and I just wanted to come on and do the next video that I have been instructed by my guides and God to do. I have not read it, but I was told to read today's message and then share about it. It's called The Language of Letting Go. This is like a daily book for getting over codependency, and that is a lot about what my channel is about. Not just spirituality and soulmates and everything. My channel is a lot to do with healing yourself from within, healing from codependency. So anyway, let's see. I feel like this might be a doozy, but let's see. December 3rd. Oh, the 3rd. Today is the 3rd. The 3rd came up in that last reading. It just clicked that today's the 3rd. I didn't realize. Okay, so December 3rd it says developing healthy tolerance. Whoa. Many of us are skilled at denying and discounting what hurts us. We may endure a particular situation, telling ourselves repeatedly it's not that bad. We shouldn't be so demanding. It'll change any day. We should be able to live with it. It doesn't annoy us. The other person didn't really mean it. It doesn't hurt. Maybe it's just us. We may fight and argue with ourselves about the reality and the validity of our pain, our right to feel it and do something about it. Often, we will tolerate too much or so much that we become furious and refuse to tolerate anymore. We can learn to develop healthy tolerance. We do that by setting healthy boundaries and trusting ourselves to own our power with people. We can lessen our pain and suffering by validating and paying attention to others. We can work at shortening the time between identifying a need to set a boundary and taking clear, direct action. We aren't crazy. Some behaviors really do bug us. Some behaviors really are inappropriate, annoying, hurtful, or abusive. We don't have to feel guilty about taking care of ourselves once we identify a boundary that needs to be set. Look at the experience as an experiment in owning our power, in establishing new healthy boundaries and limits for ourselves. We don't have to feel guilty or apologize or explain ourselves after we've set a boundary. We can learn to accept the awkwardness and discomfort of setting boundaries with people. We can establish our rights to have these limits. We can give the other person room to have and explore his or her feelings. We can give ourselves room to have our feelings as we struggle to own our power and create good working relationships. Once we can trust our ability to take care of ourselves, we will develop healthy, reasonable tolerance of others. God, help me begin striving for healthy boundaries and healthy tolerance for myself and others. Told you it was going to be a doozy. And having already done the first reading that I already posted, I'll link it at the end of this one, I realize why I was told to do this reading. They definitely go together because there's a lot of awareness coming. Now, this is about setting healthy boundaries. This is also about not feeling guilty about the boundaries that you do set. Now, I have, over the years, gotten better at establishing boundaries with people in my life. It has been the most difficult to establish boundaries with family members. And this is in general. I'm not just going to speak about me because I will use my experience to help guide you in setting your own boundaries in your life. It is most difficult to lay down new foundations with people like family, close friends, people that you work with, people that see you on a daily basis, or people that have known you for years and years. A lot of people go to establishments for work where you've worked for years and years, okay? And it's different. It's when you decide to change or set let's say you move from, you get a raise. So your power increases. I don't want to say power. Your responsibilities increase. Okay. Your authority increases in your work environment, but you still have friends, who aren't at that level, but you also have a job to do. You have a duty to do. You have a responsibility to lead, to be the leader. A true leader leads by example. Okay. It's matching your words and your feet. Okay. With your feet, matching what you say with your feet. So if you sign up to do something and you're not doing those things, maybe you need to look at that. If you sign up, let's say you're saying one thing and doing another thing, or there's something here with somebody struggling at work, but there's also different struggles with family and friends. I know that for me, anybody that, okay, they want me to talk about the men in my life that I've had to set boundaries with, because that has been very difficult for me, and over the years, and it's been like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Some of the men that have been in my life, it took me over 30 years to walk away from them. And I'm not ashamed in saying that, because it takes what it takes. And it can get so comfortable. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it takes practice. And when everybody around you is doing the same thing, you can almost be convinced that wanting a change is asking too much, or it's something you shouldn't be asking for. And then once you start changing or setting a boundary or wanting things to be different, and the disruption begins between the person that you're setting your boundary with, as well as the people around you, because it's like the people around you who are accepting the same behavior that you're now setting a boundary for have to look at themselves, have to wonder, why is she doing that? Why is she doing that? And not everybody's ready to deal with the shit that comes up, by seeing other people beginning to set boundaries. So when you begin to set boundaries in your life, it's not like you're just dealing with that one person, because as you change it has this ripple effect. It's energy. It radiates out all around you. And so it can be overwhelming, because you're receiving backlash from all angles. This is why it's important to have support. I had a great guide for a very long time. I got to spend 13 years with her. I listened to her daily. And I wish everybody to have a Maureen in their life. And then once she went away, I did meet a couple of different women, but nothing ever stuck. My relationship with God just deepened. And because I never could really fully trust anybody else, even though I did meet some really great women. God has given me strength to continue to set my boundaries. Even after, I could say what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want this anymore. And then experience, just go through the heartache and the loss of having someone just literally not care that their behavior was hurting me to the degree that it was, and just go on and live their life and just go off and do whatever they wanted to do. And which they're allowed to do. And I had to go through this whole learning process of releasing that person with love, you know, or these people with love, because I have no rights to any other person. The only person I can change is myself. The only people we can change are us individually. And it took years for me to let go in that manner, especially with the men that I have loved deeply, my family, mother, father, brothers, okay, children. And then to know and be able to feel them, their energy being so pissed off at me, or wanting to hurt me so bad, or wanting to show me, you know, like, just like play this game. Like, I don't want to play the game. I don't want to play the game. But then, like, sometime I would go back, and just because I did miss them, I did know that it was hard for them to say they were sorry, or I knew that they weren't ever going to say they're sorry, but maybe I really did want them in my life. But it's like I needed to get to that place where I could allow them to be in my life, or a part of my life, or learn to love them from a distance. And it took a lot of practice, and it didn't happen overnight. And it was a very heartbreaking, it's been a very heartbreaking last 22 years. But I did the first 13 with people that loved me unconditionally, and showed me that it was a real thing to be able to love unconditionally and to be received that way, you know. It starts with, if you want to be respected, you have to do respectable things. And that was a very uncomfortable slogan to hear. When I first heard it, I was extremely offended and felt like I was being called a whore. Okay? And it didn't matter that I wasn't like out like sleeping with every other person or whatever. It just, what it really implies is that if you want to be respected, you need to do respectable things. And doing things that allow yourself to be disrespected, or put you in a place to be disrespected, or allowing disrespectful behavior and taking it and not standing up for yourself, like that, I learned was disrespectful for self. So I needed to build myself up. And I did that by doing things that made me feel good about myself. And little by slowly, I began to build my confidence, so that I did less and less of the disrespectful things. I eventually got to a place where some of the things that I could tolerate, you know, early on in my recovery, were no longer anything that I could sleep at night about. You know, I couldn't do it anymore. So it's like, as you're building your confidence, and as your awareness of self grows and understanding grows, the road of what you can get away with narrows. And so this is why I figured out why not everybody chooses to look at themselves. It's easier to point your finger at other people. And setting boundaries requires discipline and work on self. It's not about pointing out somebody else's problems, or even like talking shit about somebody else. It's not about that. It's about, okay, if I want a better life, what do I have to do to achieve that better life? Well, I need to get away from everybody who makes me feel or says it out loud that I can't or don't deserve a better life, including my own thought process. I had to practice my way to new thinking and new behavior. And it's been a daily process, a minute by minute process. I'm not like perfect by any means. The only thing that I do is strive to be better than the woman I was the day before. If I like pop off at the mouth or something, I apologize, okay? When I'm calmed down enough, so that the situation wouldn't escalate. These are things that I did to really harness my anger, my impatience. I also think about my children because they're watching and absorbing everything. I live knowing that their eyes are on me. I want them to have a better life than me and than I did as a child. And they have. Maybe they don't have all the things that I grew up with materially, but they have more than I ever had at both of their ages, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And I feel like that is huge. I mean, I'm excited to see how far they're going to go in their life. So there's no need to feel guilty in wanting more for yourself. Although it's a feeling that's going to naturally arise. I mean, it was a very natural part of my healing. It continues to even be at times. I understand that I have no need to feel guilty, but there are people that I miss. There are people I know that if I call them, they will have no respect for me if I call them. Because they just know. And sometimes I don't care because I do. I just genuinely care. But sometimes it's like I said before, it's like you can choose to do whatever you want. You just have to be willing to live with the consequences of your actions. And I don't know if I said that in that last reading or if I said it at the beginning of this one. Honestly, they seem to go together very, very well. So I feel like that's all I'm really being guided to share about right now. And I'm just going to go with that and close this out. I am going to do water sign messages, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio right now. So be on the lookout for those. And I don't know if this is going to become a daily thing or not, but I was instructed to read that today. So everybody's going to come against you. Not everybody, but a lot of people are going to come against you when you decide to do what's best for you. Because there's a saying that is one that it's like people like to see you do better, but never better than them. And it's a very sad statement of how true it is. But the more that you focus on all the good things that are happening in your life because of the changes that you're implementing into your daily routines, the more and more you open yourself up to other people who are moving to get ahead as well. And you will have these people around you, as like shining lights, as guides, along the way. I didn't have physical people. I haven't really had physical people since I guess let's see, like the last 10 years. It's been my kids, it's been God, and there's been a couple of people on YouTube that I get guided to and I get inspired by and have propelled me to keep moving forward and have taught me as well. I trust God. I'm still living and breathing and willing to do whatever it takes to keep moving forward. And I feel like that says a lot about the power of faith and the love of God. And yeah, look, discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to do. In adversity, I accept that challenges are the best way to learn, and that is truth. And patience, I accept that everything happens in divine order. And it's so freaking true. Hindsight is 20/20. You might not know until after you get over the hump, when you have time to like breathe and look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened. Okay, it might not make sense for 6 years, and then you'll be like, oh, this is why. Trust. Anything worth keeping is worth working for. Go get your life. If you woke up breathing today, God ain't done with you. So don't you give up. Anyway, I love you. I hope this helps you. Let me know what you think about this. And I don't know, I used to do these like every day. Maybe it's time we get back to this. So let me know what you think about that. And I'm going to get started on the water sign readings. Okay, so look out for those too, guys. Okay, I love you. Have a great night. Bye.